There it is.
You know, clap me in again.
Let's do it.
All right. Welcome to episode 2. Welcome to episode 2 of the new podcast, Theoretically, with Stuart Wilkins and Peyton Hutchins. This time, we're just going to kind of have a good conversation, I think, about Christmas, because today is the 27th of December.
Yes.
Peyton, how was your Christmas?
It was a good Christmas.
Same. Mine was busy. The problem with, living within, 15 minutes of your entire family is that you have to see all of them.
Yeah, there's no excuse.
So I went 4 different places on Christmas. But anyway, So today is, like I said, the 27th, and we're going to have a conversation about Christmas. Just kind of some different thoughts and questions about Christmas.
Christmas, an origin story.
Yes. And so that's where we're going with this. So, anyway, without further ado, let's kind of move on to the first section. I think what we're going to do is kind of
Where did Christmas come from?
Yeah. So, Peyton, would you like to fill us in on where Christmas came? Wait, do you want to do the disclaimer real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, the disclaimer would be, well, for both of us, we're both Christians. We both believe in the Holy Bible. We grew up and went to church together, and so we, like I said, this is not playing down Christmas or talking bad about Christmas or trying to ruin it for anybody, especially anyone in our family. This is not to disprove or to take away from the Bible and the celebration of Christmas for us. So I just want to make that really clear. But like I said, usually when we have these conversations, we just talk about, we kind of have an open-minded conversation about all subjects. So just real quick disclaimer, this is not me questioning my faith or anything like that, or trying to play down anyone's faith or belief or anything like that. So real quick, just want to do that. So Peyton, where did Christmas come from?
I think
that
Christmas came from Saint Nick, who threw gold down a chimney to a family. Don't remember the details, but I'm pretty sure there was a story about a guy who helped some people out.
Okay.
Saint Nicholas, in back in the day, some people needed help, gave him money on Christmas.
Okay,
that's what I always assumed.
Obviously, that's where you get the term "Old Saint Nick." Saint Nick. Okay,
that's what I think. And then it was just
so where did the term Santa Claus come from? From Saint Nick?
Yeah, it's the same guy, but it's just different culture. Took the story, made it different.
Okay,
that's what I think.
I heard something very similar about that. It was this guy. I don't know if he was a reverend or just a nice guy or something like that, but or he was a saint.
Yeah,
I heard that his
those existed.
He was a saint, and his name was Nicholas or Nick or something like that, and he was going around and giving some kind of gift or money or something to people. That's kind of the way I heard that story, so I can kind of relate to that story. Now, over the past probably over the past 18 hours. I've been kind of doing some research and stuff on this. So as far as where Christmas came from. But like I said, so just to be clear, for us, I think that the Christmas is kind of that time of year where Christians celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. Right. And you kind of have that mass gathering and that mass worship.
Do they?
Well, maybe not this year. But you have that mass worship to basically celebrate the birth of Jesus. So theoretically, that's where Christmas, Christ, Mass, mass or whatever.
Oh,
so
yeah, that's
Christmas.
a thing.
So
that's a thing.
So that would be kind of where I think it comes from. Now, as far as I started researching, I found it really interesting because what kind of started this whole thing was that I had a coworker who told me that they don't do any kind of Christmas.
Right.
And I was really interesting. I was why not? Because that's just kind of, that's what we've always done. That's what my family's just always done. Mm-hmm. And without getting too in detail or whatever, kind of going on that rabbit trail. But basically it was it was kind of falling into the whole like worldly, like material part of Christmas,
Right.
And so like
The corporations.
right. And so like
That's
I
where it
was
came
like,
from.
okay, all right, that's fair. So that's when I kind of started researching. I was like, like, maybe we can kind of pinpoint, kind of discuss, because like to me, probably most people, it's like that's just what you've always done.
Yeah.
But I find it
It's
interesting,
holiday.
and so like the reason I started it kind of like made me think and everything because, and we kind of talked about this before we started recording, like so if for us, Christmas, if it is a holiday for Christians to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, why is it celebrated nationally and even internationally? And everybody takes off work, everybody gets the gifts, and everybody does this for one another. Most people,
Yeah.
like most work and everything, they get off for it.
It's
But
weird.
like even people that don't think anything about Christianity or Jesus Christ celebrate it.
Yeah. It's weird how Santa Claus is the one that gets commercialized.
Yeah.
You know what I
So
mean?
right, and so like where does the term Santa Claus come from? And actually, we've got some articles and stuff pulled up, so I can, when we're ready to switch, I can go like
See what History Channel
see
has
what
to
yeah
say.
see what History Channel has to say. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like what you were saying, continue what you were saying as far as like Santa
Yeah.
Claus is the one that's like
Yeah, so you think of Christmas in the United States, at least, because I don't want to speak for anywhere else, but I imagine most places you think Christmas, it's Santa Claus, just Santa hat right there,
right.
North Pole, stuff like that. That's what all the movies are. But the actual celebration of it means like a bunch of different things to a bunch of different people.
Right.
Because even like a Christian family, Christian households, it's supposed to be a celebration of the birth of Christ. That's what they talk about at church, like pretty much all of December. But for another family, it's just it could be literally anything else. It could be giving gifts. It could be family time with their kids or something, or it could be a third thing, right? So it could be anything, but it's interesting how Santa Claus is the one that gets commercialized as like, this is why we're having a holiday. This is why we're getting off of work.
Yeah. And some people really, the Santa Claus subject is kind of interesting. And I kind of, like I said, overthink these things, but like it's kind of,
Oh yeah.
if Santa Claus is, okay, so like Santa Claus is a fictional character to most.
Is he?
Okay, so Santa Claus is a fictional
Spoiler
character
warning.
that's that somebody came up with, and now most families tell their kids
Yeah, like a lot of people.
that this fictional character
He's magic too.
is magic, okay, and will reach every single household in the world
How's he do that?
to deliver everyone's gifts that they desire, as long as you've been a good boy or girl for
Parenting 101.
right for the whole year, and then you'll get what you want.
Right.
But like, so like it's this like fictional character, fictional holiday almost, for people who don't
Yeah, like what does it mean to the person
that
doesn't believe it's that, or doesn't know about any sort of like story that it would be derived from?
right. So like why?
Man, that's who you need to talk to.
Yeah, right. So like that's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm like trying to keep an open mind about like, how do those people feel about Christmas that don't have any kind of belief or religion or anything like that? It's literally like getting together with family and like talking about Santa and the gifts.
What's taught in school? So like when you're in elementary school,
Mm-hmm.
you get the Pilgrims, Thanksgiving.
Well, I mean that's a
Maze.
true story.
Right. But I'm saying you learned that in elementary school.
Okay,
At least I remember learning that in elementary school.
you learned about Santa.
No, that's what I'm saying. What was taught about Christmas? Because I don't.
Nothing. You just nothing. You just decorate the classroom and.
I didn't go to public school. So.
Oh, that's right. You were. Oh. So you're asking me what was taught in school?
Yeah, like was there actually anything taught about Christmas?
The only thing I can really like remember as far as like it being taught or talked about rather. I don't want to say taught because I don't think you're allowed to. Like it's not like a public school can teach about
Santa Claus.
Like why would you teach your kids about Santa Claus or teach your kids about or Jesus or the biblical story or anything like that? Like you can't do
Right.
that. So
Right.
okay, so like let's say like you're in second grade or whatever, you do like a connect the dots or maybe like a Christmas word search or something like that. Like if you're like really young, or you might like color like
Right.
a Santa Claus picture and the teacher hangs it up. Okay, so we're talking like first, second grade or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything from like 5th, 6th, 7th
Yeah.
grade, like 8th grade or nothing like as far as like Christmas. Even like high school was like you don't really mention Christmas except like, hey, what are your Christmas plans? Like
Yeah.
it's not.
You get off of school.
Yeah, you get off for school for 2 weeks, but like, or it's 2 weeks, right? Oh, you wouldn't know. It was at least a week and a
It was
half.
short. Obviously winter break.
Yeah.
Winter break, it depended on the year. That's what it was. It was about 2 weeks, I think. I think you're right.
Well, see, that's the thing. So like college, you're out for like a month.
Yeah.
You're out for like a month in college.
Yeah.
Miss those days. You're out for like a month in college for like Christmas. And so that's what I'm saying. So this school, who is like, so you have a college that's like universal. You have all kinds of people and cultures and religion and everyone's accepted and everything is good, which is great. But everyone takes a month off just because this holiday is going on. Or I understand it's winter break in between in between semesters. I get that. You can call it that. That's fine. But like you take it for Christmas
and New Year's.
Yeah,
basically.
So you get done with your exams and you go home for Christmas and New Year's and you come back on like January 8th or 10th or whatever people did. Or like your college, you went out on December 1st and then you went back on January 31st.
It was like from like December 4th to like the 13th or something.
That's nuts, dude.
That's sort of like the range, and then you weren't back in until mid-January.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. Anyway, so that's what I'm saying. So like that's the thing. So like it's like this national thing that colleges and everybody are celebrating, but like why? What does it mean to each person? And where did it even come from? Because that's the thing. I mean, you can even look up like why. Okay, so let me ask you this: why do you think we give gifts?
Capitalism. The corporations have monetized the holiday and taken advantage of the sentiment behind Christmas to make you buy their stuff. That's what it is.
Yeah, I understand that, but okay, so why do you
factor.
think years and years ago that we even started giving gifts?
Yeah, that would be really interesting. Is like when did it start? Because it couldn't be for like literally forever, right?
Yeah, and like literally we just which I can pull it up, I guess, right here. I just had it. So if I Google why do we give gifts at Christmas, the first thing that comes up, which is off of Wikipedia, is the practice of giving gifts during, what does that say? Christmastide. According to Christian tradition, is symbolic of the presentation of the gifts by the three wise men to the infant Jesus. But like, why does that give us permission to give gifts to one another?
Right.
So that's what that says. Now I know that goes back further as far as like it could go back. I mean, I might look it up right here just a minute. I just like talking, like going back and forth about this, us asking each other questions, and then we can actually research to answer it for ourselves. But
yeah, well, it probably was a trend because at one point it was like America, God's country, and God we trust, all that. Mm-hmm. Christian ideology was very fundamental in creating the United States, from my knowledge. And there's one point where the majority of people were Christian. So it was probably just the fact that most people were celebrating it and giving gifts as, like I said, a symbolic sort of gesture to sort of relive that moment of giving a gift, I mean, trying to be selfless and giving to others. And then I guess at some point, obviously that's a tradition that's created. But giving gifts and receiving gifts is such like a universal thing that even while the country might be getting less and less Christian, or they might be celebrating it in more different ways, that idea stayed the same. Maybe
it's possible. I did, like I said, I did some research on this. So apparently, even like in Europe and places like this, is like way back in the day, like way back, when you had to like harvest and like keep it for the winter time and everything like that. So basically to make it through the winter, you had to stock up on food and everything like this. Now, and this is a super short version. There's a lot more detail and a lot more like,
right, yeah,
more accurate, I guess you'd say, description of what's going on. So basically, from what I understand, what I was reading is like when these families and everything would like, they were like toughing out through the winter. Well, around midwinter, so December 22nd to 23rd, in that time, you have the shortest day of the year.
Yeah, solstice.
Yeah, the winter solstice. So it's like the shortest day of the year. And so basically it was like on that day is when like the sun
farthest?
Well, the sun, what I'm saying is like the sun was losing to the winter, but then the day after that was like the sun starts winning the day back. So then that way your days start becoming longer. So it's like the shortest day of the year, and then it starts becoming longer after that.
Yeah.
And so then people would kind of get together to celebrate that in midwinter. So you would have a big party, eat a bunch of food, drink, and then like even part of that would be like giving gifts to one another as far as like, because you're at a party and everything like this. So it wasn't even really based around the Christmas holiday, December 23rd, December 25th.
But it was a holiday around that time.
It was like an unspoken holiday for you to celebrate the midwinter, getting through like
That's cool.
getting through the midwinter. So now the days are starting to go
We should start
longer.
doing that.
So basically, it was like the Christmas holiday, December 25th, wasn't even like it didn't even really matter. It was like people were already getting together and partying anyway in midwinter because they were celebrating the winter solstice. So like getting through it. And so, because back in the day, I mean, like, it was tough getting through winters. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it wasn't fun times.
Because you couldn't harvest, you couldn't farm, you couldn't do nothing. So, like,
all your money's covered in snow.
Yeah. So, like, but anyway, so that's what I'm saying. So, like, that's kind of where, like, the whole, like, get together and party thing, like, kind of came into play.
Right, yeah.
Now, as far as, like, I was going to go back to, like, the Santa thing. As far as, like, some people get kind of, like,
weird,
touchy about the Santa thing because, and I can see the perspective. I can, like, as far as, like, so you're telling your kids about this fictional character that as long as you're good, then he'll bring you your gifts every year. Okay. And it's, like, lying to your kids, and it's, like, very not good. And obviously there's nothing in the Bible that mentions anything about Santa or gifts or things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and so, like, I can respect that in a way, as far as...
I mean, I don't know how to parent, but...
I mean, I don't either. That's the thing. Neither one of us are parents. And, like, I get it. Like, and this is the thing that, like... And, like I said, going back to, like, the coworker that kind of brought this up, we were kind of starting the conversation, and I was like, like because her parents never did that for her, like the whole Santa gift giving thing,
right?
And I was like, well, like I my parents, we did the Santa gift giving thing, I would, yeah, and like I would like write my note. You said you did or did not?
We did not.
Oh, you really didn't?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. So I would like write the letter and tell him what I wanted. And then, like, I would leave it for him or whatever, and then he would bring it, right?
Yeah.
And, like,
that's cool.
And then, obviously, I was figured out that he's not.
Yeah.
He's not. And so, I mean, but I still think I turned out okay. You know what I'm saying? I still think, like, I'm fine.
You weren't traumatized.
Yeah. So, like, what did you, like, so if you guys didn't do the Santa thing, what did you think happened on Christmas morning?
My mom hates Santa Claus.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know this. Dude, tell me.
Probably could have guessed. Yeah, no, dude.
I love your mom.
She absolutely hates Santa Claus. So,
oh, I had this out here the whole time.
I mean, we just knew that when we woke up, all the presents under our tree were from our parents.
Okay.
And we knew that they were giving us gifts.
So what was the point of them doing that? Just to say, like, hey, I love you. This is this is the.
Well, yeah. So that, of course, but also, I mean, we we knew it was a celebration of Jesus, so that was.
So then, what was the point of doing the present thing? If you don't know, you don't have to answer. But like,
no, like giving the gifts was like we talked about earlier. Like it's symbolic of that. But, I mean, I think obviously it takes a little bit more. It's more about like just giving to a family member. You know, it's about like a time of year where you can say, "Here you go," right? And I think for parents, it's probably like just nice, like if you can give your kids something, like you know, to be able to do that in a way that also can reinforce a belief that you have. Like, you know what I mean? So
no, that totally makes sense.
But we never even even had Santa as a thing.
Right, but like when I was like really young, we did do the Santa thing. And then even after I knew Santa didn't exist, they still do like the gifts on Christmas morning. Like,
yeah, like it's weird,
they still did. But I kind of like what you were saying. It's kind of like, and I mean, like I said, I'm not dissing, or I'm not like, again, I'm not talking bad about anybody, but like, I mean, like, do people just do it because it's tradition? Because like, oh, it's that time of year, so I got to get gifts. Like, you just do it just to do it, or if it's just tradition, or that's what you've always done.
Yeah. Well,
like, why can't you receive a gift? In February? You know what I'm saying?
It's a great
question. Like, it's like this universal date that we all decide to like get each other stuff, which is fine. I just, the only like the point that I'm making as far as like is just that, like, why do we pick this? Why is it this date?
I don't. It's a good question, because I would love to give people gifts more often, or like maybe not more often, but like at a different, just like whenever it comes to mind, instead of being like, oh, this would be a great like Christmas idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think though you'll notice like the further away it gets from your core family, the more it just becomes like, I just have to buy these people something.
Yeah, but like, why do we feel like that? Why do we even feel like that in the first place? Why do we have to feel like that about people?
Because of peer pressure, because of, I don't know.
Because that's just the universal thing that you're supposed to do.
Because of capitalism.
But like, that's what I'm saying. So like, at what, you know, because to a lot of people, it's just another day. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't.
For me, dude, if it were up to me, I legitimately would not buy anyone a gift. I didn't want to buy a gift. And I would buy like my family, like my close family, like, you know what I mean? And I would enjoy that, because that's part of the fun, right? Of growing up and being able to, like, you know, you were giving gifts growing up, and then you can give gifts, you know, so that'd be cool. But yeah, I mean, there is nothing saying you don't have to do it. It's just you get like a little bit of scorn, I guess.
Yeah.
From some people. Now, some like family members, like, it's cool. Like, a lot of, like, most of our Christmas stuff we canceled this year, so we didn't do that. But like, and no one cares, right? But it's like, it's usually like kids that are the most like confused, and it's the Santa Claus thing that makes it the worst, just because when you understand, my opinion, that Christmas is just about giving gifts to people that you love, and it's not about getting gifts, it's about giving. You know what I mean? Because it's to symbolize like we're giving like to God. You feel really bad about getting. You know what I mean? But when you're taught that Santa Claus magic guy is going to bring you, I mean, maybe not, right? I mean, everyone's different, but I think there's some cases where people are taught that for so long that Christmas in their head becomes about getting. And so that's when they're like brats if you don't give them anything.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not about you.
Yeah, I mean, like, I understand that, but that's the thing. Like, it lies within the heart of the individual. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it really does. I mean, whether, you know, Christian or not. Well, again, I mean, this is just my opinion. Some people may not agree, which is fine. But like, Christian or not, you know, if you're really into getting, that's not good, because you're greedy.
Yeah, and you know, and people don't deserve anything. People deserve death. But that's different.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, well, if you really think about it, we don't even deserve life in the beginning. So,
yeah.
But that's a subject for a different time. But in my opinion, I think being greedy and just in general is just harmful as a human. So
Oh yeah.
I mean, to kind of bounce off what you were saying, as far as like, you do feel bad about getting, if your heart is kind of in the right place, you're kind of like, well, I don't know. Here's the way I see it, where it's like, if you roll into Christmas, this is kind of how Christmas is to me. Okay, Christmas to me is obviously, which we can kind of get into this too, because like I said, we're both Christians. That's kind of like the universal date to celebrate Jesus's birthday, or the birth of Jesus. There's not actually a real proof of date.
Yeah, I heard it was like the summer.
I don't. That's the thing. I mean, it's like there's no actual date or really like time of year that like you can prove that, like, there's no date that Jesus was born. Okay, so like it's just kind of like we decided on this date.
So Christians hijacked another holiday. The winter solstice celebration. Okay,
that's actually a conversation. Really, I mean, that's really, because in part of the research that I was doing, that's actually a conversation.
Okay, so
where like they kind of adopted like a paganism.
Christians hijacked that.
Yeah.
And then the corporations hijacked Christmas, and that's how we got Santa Claus.
Okay, well there you go. We figured it out. Okay, so but anyway, I think that the reason that it's like falling on December is because like December 25th is because that when Mary was when Gabriel came to Mary, let's see, June, July, August, September. Shoot, when was it? It was like when Gabriel came to Mary, someone else was pregnant with John the Baptist. And like, it does tell when John the Baptist was born.
And so it's like close to that.
And so like Jesus was conceived like X amount of months after John the Baptist was conceived. So then, when it comes around, it equals out on, and John the Baptist was born on like March 25th. So if you back it up, then that would make Jesus born on December 25th, the way that the 9 months lays out. You know what I'm saying? So if you did like exactly 9 months, then Jesus would have been born on December 25th. So I think that's kind of like why, like I said, I know that there's a way more accurate answer, but I'm trying to remember all the research the quick research I did before doing this. So that's kind of like what.
That's the first time I've heard that.
Yeah, so that's I could probably look it up real quick, but I don't want to.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, no, that's kind of where that came from, and so which makes sense. But some people still won't really like go off of that. Because
why not?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, because that's you can't prove it. You can't prove the exact.
You can't prove God exists. We still believe that.
I mean, yeah, true. All right, we could go down this. We could go down this road. I mean, true, but that's the thing. I mean, well, that's the whole part where like faith comes in. And again, I think to me it goes back to the heart of the individual. Different. So if you really take December 25th out and you really like want to take this day to celebrate the birth of Jesus, by golly, do it. I think God's going to appreciate it no matter what. Yeah. My opinion. I think God will appreciate it. Sure. I mean, you could arguably say you should be happy and thankful and celebrate Jesus' birthday every day of the year.
You should.
Fair point. However, if you really want to just kind of make it like a revival type thing, or like you take time to like you set this time out of the year to recognize this, and you get together with your family to celebrate it, that's great.
Yeah.
And like you said, I mean, like the gift thing. Sure, you can go off like it was the wise men's thing, or you go off it was the Saint Nick thing, or you go off of
old Saint Nick.
The traditional, humans in general getting together for the midwinter. What? No, I was saying for the midwinter solstice, and like having a party and giving gifts and getting together and having a big feast, whatever. I don't really care. Like I said, as long as it's like, to me, as long as like your heart is right, because like to me, I go into Christmas, I don't expect anything. I don't even expect anything from my wife. I just know that she's going to get me.
It's a healthy mindset.
She's going to get me some good stuff because she's my wife, and that's just what she does. Like she really enjoys doing that, which is obviously fine by me. But like I
Right.
I wouldn't expect anything like from my wife from Christmas. Like I'm
Yeah.
perfectly happy. And so like to me, if I give someone a gift, that I'm doing it just like, hey, I did this for you. Because to me, Christmas is kind of like, as far as like the get-togethers and things like that. To me, Christmas is more like, we're about to finish up the year. It's in December, at the end of December, we're about to finish up the year. You already have this time set apart to spend with family. You have your own individual family traditions, which is fine. And so you can kind of spend that time and show appreciation and be thankful for your family and just kind of be thankful for what you have.
Yeah.
And so to me, I'm just like I'm a really in the moment kind of guy. Me and my wife always like laugh about this because like we don't take pictures. Like we're not good at taking pictures.
Bad at that too.
But like I feel like I'm a very in the moment kind of person. And so I just kind of enjoy the moment. And if I do happen to receive a gift from someone, then I'm more than grateful for it. But that's the thing. I obviously I will admit I'm not always like that. I wasn't always like that. I've kind of like morphed myself and changed myself into having that mindset to just be kind of the don't expect anything from anyone kind of thing.
Yeah, that's good. With some people though, some people have their love language is receiving gifts. Like that's kind of their thing. Like for whatever reason, just the way the chemicals work in their brain when you're giving them something that's like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
you're the most amazing person ever. So like, that's gotta be tough. And obviously everyone has like that, whatever, like, it's not like the slider's just off.
Yeah.
But it's like,
but it's higher in some people than
than
others.
I'd imagine if you're that person, that would be like a thing you'd have to figure out with, holidays like this.
Yeah.
Where it's about giving gifts.
But like I said, dude, that's the thing, okay?
You have to adjust.
Who says you have to get anyone anything for Christmas?
I mean, you don't.
That's what I keep going back to. See, that's what I think. And that's the way my brain works, is that I keep going in this constant, like, circle that will never end. I'll eventually drive myself crazy. But, like, that's the thing. It's like we have created this universal day set out aside, and you're expected to give and to get. That's what's expected of you.
Yeah, no, you're not expected. You're expected to buy.
Yes. Well,
because it's all the corporations.
I mean, like, I can't argue. I can't like argue with this because it is very like.
The consumerism aspect is there.
It's very big. Like, what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's the whole point of Black Friday.
Yeah.
After Thanksgiving is like, you,
Christmas shop, baby.
Yeah, I mean, it's Christmas shopping, and like the whole point of the reason Black Friday is called Black Friday, which I assume a lot of people know this, maybe not. So basically, if you are looking at your like yearly profits, and like stocks, whatever, things like that, the market, and like you're in the red, okay, well, the Friday after Thanksgiving is like, you put on a bunch of sales, you put out all your product, you put on, try to draw people in so that way all these consumers will push you up into the black. So now you're making money rather than coming out in the red. So the whole point of Black Friday, the reason it's called Black Friday, is to get companies out of the red into the black.
Right.
So that's where the term Black Friday comes from. But that's the thing. Black Friday wouldn't even be a thing if Christmas wasn't such a big deal to give gifts.
Yeah, everyone like goes Christmas shopping or
exactly. Or some people just shop.
Yeah, just deals, man.
Yeah, just deals. So, but that's the thing. I mean, and that's like I said, I'm not dissing anybody. If you go Black Friday shopping, I don't care. Like that's fine.
I went on Black Friday to shop, bought some shoes.
Nice, man.
Yeah, got
What'd you get?
Little deals. Some Dockers.
Ooh.
They're They're comfortable and they're like work appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Office setting.
Are they the slip-ons or they tie?
They tie, but they're, cool. They're pretty tight without tying them. To be honest.
Yeah.
It's like almost like a sock. You kind of.
But Docker's a little less expensive than like Sperry, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're
Sperry's
not quite up there.
Anyway,
Yeah,
But yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that's fine. I don't really care. Like, you want Black Friday shopping to like, go get you a nice pair of work shoes. That's fine. But like, that's what's that. And like, it's just interesting that we got to this point because it's such a big, especially with like, the Amazon.
There is the
Amazon like thing now. I mean, like it's anything you could ever want. Just from a click from a click of a screen.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
So,
and there's a weird societal pressure on this time of year to like give or to volunteer and do these things, and it's like,
yeah,
you really do have to like evaluate like who you are and like why you're doing this stuff, because like it is a weird sort of pressure, but like I've kind of to the point where I'm like, I don't feel bad if someone's like, hey, do you want to donate to this? I'm just like, no. It's like, hey, you want to volunteer? I'm like, no, because I know what I'm doing to help. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I try to like work in my own like way to think about it, because you can't easily be pressured into stupid things that you don't actually care about.
Yeah. Well, you can't do it all either, But like you said, It's kind of like there's kind of like this created pressure to.
Yeah. It's like, dude, it's like my family's happy. You know what I mean? Like I do these things here. I do this. I chill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and and that's the thing, and that's why I want to have the conversation as far as like how we've gotten this far, like how we gotten to this point, because even like kind of going back along to like what I was saying earlier as far as like coming in for like the winter solstice and all that stuff, they would like people would bring in greenery and they would bring like plants and things into their house, aka Christmas tree, and then you would decorate and light up your house.
Heck
Christmas lights,
bro.
And so
we gotta do that next year.
And so
winter solstice.
And so like a winter solstice party.
I'll bring a plant. I'll bring a little fern.
Okay, yeah, that'll work. And then, but that's the thing is like that's what they used to do. So like it's kind of evolved into like this thing, because like that's the thing. Where does like the whole Christmas lights come into play? Like Christmas decoration. Like why is a red bow Christmas? Why can't you decorate with that red bow any other time of the year except now?
A green bow too,
or a green bow. Like why is it red and green? See, these are the questions that like you ask. Like, where do we get to this?
Why are Christmas colors?
Why? I'm honestly gonna look it up.
Yeah, there it is.
For hundreds of years, red and green have been traditional colors of Christmas. Green, for example, represents the eternal life of Jesus Christ, just as evergreen trees remain green in the whole winter long. Fair. Likewise, red represents the blood shed by Jesus Christ during this crucifixion. See, I never knew that.
I mean,
it makes sense. But then you can always look up, why do we have Christmas trees? Celebrate winter festivals. Okay, so all right, here we go. So evergreen fir trees have traditionally been used to celebrate winter festivals, aka or parentheses, pagan and Christian, in parentheses, for thousands of years. Pagans used branches of it to decorate their homes during the winter solstice, as it made them think of the spring to come. Christians use it as a sign of everlasting life with God. I told you.
So it could be either way, I guess, right?
That's what I'm saying. So the pagans used to bring it in, and so that's where, like, I think that's where the heat kind of comes in, and that's where kind of like the coworker was kind of going with it, because like this conversation I had with her was like 6 minutes, maybe.
Oh, okay.
It was like a very quick, and she was like, just kind of explained to me. I was like, oh wow, like that's really interesting that she would like bring that kind of stuff up. Like she didn't want to get fully into it because we would still be talking about it right now, probably. But that's why I kind of made it very interesting. So that's what I'm saying. So like that's where like there's kind of that contradiction as far as like pagans, Christians adopting or hijacking like a pagan tradition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which if people don't know what,
I'm fine with that though. I don't know how anyone else feels, but I'm fine with that. I mean, it is what you make it, right?
Yeah. I mean, like if people don't know what a pagan is, a person holding religious beliefs other than those of main world religions. So obviously, so like the opposite of Christianity.
It's godless.
No,
That's
well,
a
I mean,
heathen,
I
I
guess it
guess.
could be godless, but also could be like multi-gods. Like that's why I was looking at polytheism earlier. So
Oh,
it could
yeah.
be like multi-gods, like such as like
Yeah.
sun, like people who worship like the sun and other gods. Along
That
with
feels
the sun
like
and
very
the moon.
old school. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But that's what I'm saying. So like that's where like kind of the contradictory of
Wicca.
Yeah, no, that's what people also search for. Because I mean,
Mhm.
I guess that leads to what is Wicca?
I don't want to know.
I've never heard of Wicca
Heathenry.
before.
It's on the list with polytheism, Satanism, heathenry, atheism.
No, that's what people also searched for.
Yeah, I'm saying it's on the list with them.
Oh.
So I don't think
Okay,
you want to know.
well, right here it says Wicca, also termed pagan witchcraft,
Oh.
is a modern pagan religion. Scholars of religion categorize it as both a new religious movement and as part of the
Occultist.
occultist stream of Western esotericism.
Esotericism.
There you go. I don't leave that one. That thing threw me off. I don't think I've ever read that word ever in my life.
My tongue
But anyway, so there you go. So that would be a part of like
witchcraft,
paganism.
bro.
So like yeah, so that's where I think that's kind of the direction she was kind of.
So she was saying
in-
if you bring a tree into your house,
No, that's the thing. That's why she was kind of like hesitant to get into it.
yeah, she's like, it's not for me. Like, but whatever.
Right. So
That's a vibe.
like so for us, obviously, like I have a tree in my house and we decorate it and it's got
Yeah.
lights on it and it's pretty and it's nice and we put gifts under it and that's fine. That doesn't mean that I'm a pagan. You know, and that's not to say I'm going
Based
against
on
God.
This.
That's not saying I'm going against my Christian beliefs or anything like that. That's why I'm saying like it's
Yeah.
fine. Like to do all those things. My opinion, it's fine to do those things, but I just find it interesting that like I've never actually sat down and thought, why do I do this?
Right. Yeah.
Why
yeah.
do we put up trees? Why do we put up like lights on our house and things like that? So now I'm kind of getting into it. That's why I want to do this podcast because I was like,
It could be fun.
I want to
too.
have a good conversation about this because I like asking questions like this.
Yeah, well, that could be more fun too. Like I said, I use it as a symbol of everlasting life or whatever with God. So, like, I didn't even really know that.
Right.
At least if I had forgotten it. So, you know, usually getting a Christmas tree means more like it's just fun. You know, you and your family go off and spend that an afternoon like looking at trees and stuff. So we used to have fun with it growing up. So, it meant more about family than it did that. So it's interesting now to know that. So
Right,
yeah.
absolutely. Here's that article on the History Channel website that I was looking for.
In Germany, people honored the pagan god Odin during the midwinter holiday. Germans were terrified of Odin as they believed he made nocturnal flights through the sky to observe his people. Why couldn't they just say fly through the night? He made nocturnal flights through the sky to observe his people and then decide who would prosper or perish. Because of his presence, many people chose to stay inside. So that's
pretty wild.
a gloomy version of Christmas.
Yeah, that's one I've never heard of. But yeah, well,
Germans.
that's kind of what I was talking about earlier. How did Christmas start? The middle of winter has had long time of celebration around the world. Centuries before arrival of man called Jesus. Here we go. So centuries before the arrival of the man called Jesus, early Europeans celebrated light and birth of the darkest days of winter. Many peoples rejoiced during the winter solstice when the worst of the winter was behind them and they could look forward to longer days and extended hours of the sunlight. So that's kind of like they were already getting together and celebrating this, before Jesus even came along.
Yeah, can we make our own holiday?
I mean, we could and try to make it national, make it a federal holiday.
That'd be sick. if we
Because
got there.
Christmas became a federal holiday in 1870.
Really?
So,
Dude, so we can start now and then thousands of years later.
what's the holiday going to be? What's it going to be about?
I don't know.
Can we make it about
Summer solstice.
looking forward to the dark winter?
Yeah, like woo! Snow Patrol.
Oh man, I can't wait for it to get dark at 5:00 in the evening now.
Yeah. We sell ice.
Oh, hang on. Here's what we were talking about earlier.
Is Christmas really the day Jesus was born? No, possibly.
Well, that's another conversation as far as Easter.
There is a 1 in 365 chance that it was the day that he was born.
So, I mean, odds are pretty good.
I mean, I'm fine with that. I mean, you
What
know.
is that? 0.00036.5?
Divide 1 by 365.
What does it come out? It's like 0.0000365.
36, yeah, probably.
Whatever percent that is. Isn't that right?
It's got to be something like that.
1 divided by 365.
365.
Okay, so 1 divided by 365 is 0.002739726.
0.003.
0.00273.
So it's a 0.273% chance.
So it 0.02.
Yeah, but that's a
7%
decimal,
chance.
right?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, so you move it over to get the percent. And so it's a 0.274% chance.
No, it's 0.027, right? No, yeah, you're right. 0.27.
0.27%
Yeah.
chance. So,
I mean, you know.
suck on that. Next time someone says, like, it's not really the day, I'm like, well, what day is it?
Exactly.
There's the same freaking chance that your prediction's correct as mine.
Right. Okay, so I want to read this whole thing because I think it kind of relates all to what we were talking about. So, in the early years of Christianity, Easter was the main holiday. The birth of Jesus was not celebrated. In the 4th century, church officials decided to institute the birth of Jesus as a holiday. Unfortunately, the Bible does not mention date of his birth. A fact Puritans later pointed out in order to deny the legitimacy of the celebration. Although some...
The Puritans are always on that. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, that's a big thing
Sticks
for the
in the
Puritans. Which I can look right here for people who don't know what Puritans are.
They're the same people from Thanksgiving.
So technically the definition of Puritan is a member of a group of English Protestants of the late 16th and 17th century who regarded the Reformation of the Church of England under Elizabeth as incomplete and sought to simplify and regulate forms of worship. A person with serious moral beliefs, especially about pleasure and sex. Okay, so there you go.
Yeah,
There's
that
okay.
was Salem witch trials.
Mm-hmm.
Puritans.
Yeah, I mean that's which conversation for different times. Okay, here we go. So, although some evidence suggests that his birth may have occurred in the spring, why would shepherds be herding in the middle of winter? Fair point.
It could be a dry season there, though.
Right, exactly. Because
I mean, with Bethlehem,
where is
Jerusalem.
it? Is it China? Somewhere in China, they can tobacco farm like 9 or 10 months out of the 12 months. Whereas around here, we can only tobacco farm for
less than 9.
It's like 5 or 6 months that they really are only out there. So anyway, so like it could be like the different area could have, the weather could have been different. Either way, Pope, is that Julius or Julius?
I think it's Julius.
Okay, so Pope Julius the first chose December 25th. It is commonly believed that the church chose this day in an effort to adopt and absorb the traditions of the pagan Saturnalia. Saturnalia?
Yeah, Saturnalia, because I bet it's the planet.
Okay.
Although I don't know
Festival.
if they would know about planets then, but
I don't know.
when the planet
First called the Feast of the Nativity, the custom spread of Egypt by 432 and to England by the end of the 6th century. Okay, by holding Christmas at the same as the traditional winter solstice festivals, church leaders increased chances that Christmas would be popularly embraced, but gave up on the ability to dictate how it was celebrated.
Guerrilla marketing. They went outside the big festival and went outside and popped their little stand-up.
Yeah, and because Yeah. All right. By the Middle Ages, Christianity had, for the most part, replaced pagan religion. On Christmas, believers attended church, then celebrated what is that? Raucously? Raucously?
Raucously? Yeah.
I don't know. In a drunken, okay, then celebrated big.
Woo! They turned up.
And then celebrated big in a drunken carnival-like atmosphere similar to today's Mardi Gras. Each year, a beggar or student would be crowned the quote-unquote Lord of Misrule. And eager celebrants played the part of his subjects. The poor would go to the houses of the rich and demand their best food and drink. If owners failed to comply, their visitors would most likely terrorize them with mischief. Christmas became the time of year when the upper classes could repay their real or imagined quote-unquote debt to society by entertaining less fortunate citizens.
That's
That's wild.
terrible. Sounds stupid.
Kind of. It looks like it's just a rager.
Like, I don't owe you anything.
Right. Now, this was a big thing. Christmas was canceled somewhere in Europe. It was the Puritans canceled Christmas.
Dang Puritans, man. Bah humbug.
Let's see right here. There was another part that I wanted to look up. Who invented Santa Claus? Here we go. This is the first question.
Saint Nick, right there. I told you.
Okay, the legend of Santa Claus can be traced back to a monk named Saint Nicholas, who was born in Turkey around 280 A.D. Saint Nicholas gave away all of his inherited wealth and traveled the countryside helping the poor and sick, becoming known as protector of children and sailors.
Nice.
All right. St. Nicholas first entered American popular culture in the late 18th century in New York when Dutch families gathered to honor the anniversary of the death of Saint Nicholas. So that would be SINTNIKOLAAS.
It's Dutch for Saint Nicholas.
Yeah, Dutch for St. Nicholas. Or Sinterklaas, Claus for short. Santa Claus draws his name from this abbreviation.
Sinterklaas.
It keeps going. In 1822, Episcopal minister. Now you're looking at me like, dude, you struggling right now? Clement Clark Moore wrote a Christmas poem called An Account of a Visit from St. Nicholas, more popularly known today by its first line, "'Twas the night before Christmas." The poem depicted Santa Claus as a jolly man who flies from home to home on a sled driven by a reindeer to deliver toys. Iconic version of Santa Claus as a jolly man in red with a white beard and sack of toys was immortalized in 1881 when political cartoonist Thomas Nast drew on Moore's poem to create the image of old Saint Nick we know today. Whoa.
Someone made a poem because some Dutch people are celebrating Sinterklaas.
So there you go. So you were kind of right.
Yes, Saint Nick. Got that part right.
He could. I mean, it doesn't say it, but he could have thrown some gold.
Yeah, down a chimney. That could have happened.
Down a chimney.
He gave it away. They didn't say how.
How interesting is that? Huh. But anyway, yeah. So I'm just saying that, like,
what's that?
Well, like what I'm saying is, like, I can respect, where that coworker was coming from as far as like not doing anything. She doesn't know Christmas at all. Which like I said, I can respect. Like, that's fine. I don't really care. But I was like, really? How so? And then, like, that's why I kind of started evaluating. Yeah, like, you know what? Why does it have to be December 25th that we all get together? Why can't we just, like, get together and do stuff?
Because we had to hijack the pagan holiday to be relevant.
I mean, it is interesting that they, like, that it did turn out like that,
Well, you know how it goes. They had a good idea. A bunch of people were like, don't do it. They're like, no, we're going to do it. They had no plan. They just started doing it and just evolved into all these different things.
Yeah.
And before you know it, rich people were getting beaten up.
Right. So let me show you. This is interesting. Each year, 30 to 35 million real Christmas trees are sold in the United States alone. There are about 21,000 Christmas tree growers in the United States, and trees usually grow for about 15 years before they are sold.
Crazy.
Like you said, dude, capitalism.
That's all it is.
It's just a big market.
It's keeping them in business now. No one knows what Christmas is about. No one cares. They get to buy stuff, and they get to give stuff, and they get to get stuff.
Yeah.
And they go up, and they see Santa Claus on the side of a mountain with hot chocolate, and they get to cut down a tree. Ha ha ha. They get off work.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
That's right.
But that's what I'm saying.
So to
wrap all of that up, all of it, like the whole Santa Claus thing and everything, we all get off for a holiday that was created
by a couple of Dutch people.
It was created by man,
yeah.
and we like teach the Santa story and everything like that. But to kind of go back to your.
If I could time travel, I would go back in time
and create a different holiday.
And I'd be like, I'd find those Dutch guys. I'd be like, here, say this, right, and write it down, and then they do that. Did the poems about that guy, and then homeboy draws a cartoon over the poem.
And there you go.
And it's just me. I am Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Krampus? Krampus is like the anti-Santa. In some stories. Yeah, so like if you're naughty, Krampus takes you. And
what's he do with you?
I think some virgins, like you go to like some sort of like Krampus prison, or you just get beat, I think. Kind of unsure, to be honest.
Is that how you spell it?
I think it's a K. But yeah. Yeah, Christmas.
What? Krampus is a horned anthropomorphic figure in Alpine folklore who, during the Christmas season, scares children who have misbehaved, assisting to St. Nicholas, who rewards the well-behaved on 5th of December at night with modest gifts and bad ones with birch rod only. Never heard of it.
Krampus goes ham, dude.
Of course, you can't have a fun, good character like Santa Claus without an enemy.
No, you got
everybody. Everybody has an enemy.
Whoever the Alpine are, they really just decide. You know what? If we're going to use this guy. If we're going to give our kids crap, we better make sure they behave. So
is it a movie?
I think. I don't know. They probably made a movie about it.
Christmas Devil. Oh, no, that's freaky looking.
That's German as heck. Look at that.
Punishes naughty children. No way. Half man, half goat. Naughty children. Even drag them to hell.
Oh.
I'm not getting into that, bro. I've never heard of Krampus before. What? Here's some pictures. Oh, there he is.
Oh, geez.
Oh, no, thank you.
He's just right there. That's one.
No, thank you. What? That's just a devil picture. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's nuts, man. Never heard of that.
So they really took their spin on it. Whoever that was created that guy. Yeah.
Dang, dude. Oh, did not even think about that. But yeah, so that's what, like. Oh no, I was gonna go. But sorry, I was trying to think of where I was before we got on Krampus. No, we were talking about because like I said, to kind of go back to your question earlier, like no, it's not like we were taught that in school.
Yeah, it just is, man.
But like that's what I'm saying. You have the Christmas songs.
Yeah.
You've got like he's making a list, checking it twice, and it's like that's a Christmas song that everyone like listens to.
Yeah.
How did it get to that point?
Yo, I went in first grade. I went to Yadkinville Elementary School in first grade for like a minute, for like half the year, if that. And in the music class, we sang Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Right. And it's like,
Public school,
how
man.
did we get there?
Indoctrination. Crazy.
That's the thing. It's like it's this nationally celebrated and sung and loved thing, and we all get off work. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people get off work for it, and
I guess
it's a federal holiday. And
dude,
like,
it was just the perfect mixture, though. You know,
mhm.
it's the perfect harmony of like all worlds. You know,
Yeah,
because you get like, obviously back in the day in whatever it was 1880 something, where he drew the depiction of them, and they had the poem, and then they start printing stuff about Saint Nick or Santa Claus, and you know, there's whatever advertisements about gift giving. It's like Christmas is like about celebrating the birth of Christ. So we give gifts, and we bring in these ferns, we bring in these evergreens because of this, and then it kind of just eventually morphs into like modern like consumerism of just like, oh, I'm a company, there's this holiday, I'm gonna leverage the crap out of this holiday. So now I got deals, now I'm decorating my store. You know what I mean? Oh, someone wants to buy, people going out getting trees. Let's create an experience for people to come get a Christmas tree. And that's what they do, right? You go up there, you drive to the mountains, and it's like everyone has a different vibe, and you go to the one you like. It's just the perfect like marriage of things, and then it became like a pop culture thing, obviously, because even back when the poem and the depiction was written, obviously that probably blew up. You know, just like nowadays, like a new app comes out, it blows up, like Flappy Birds.
Yeah, who plays Flappy Bird anymore?
Right, but
No one.
right.
Dude, what was another one?
Had Flappy Bird
Yeah,
had been in the right situation,
we gotta everyone gets off work for Flappy Bird.
you never know, dude.
What was another one? Temple Run. Did you ever play
Yeah.
Temple Run? Temple Run was a big one. Clash of Clans. I don't know that.
Certain things just come into pop culture and they're huge and they fade, but I just feel like it being a holiday people already celebrate. A majority of the people in America would probably celebrate something like Christmas because they have Christian roots.
Yeah.
And then although that's a great question, because Puritans were like, nah, and they were like the majority, I think, over here at one point, so that'd be interesting to see.
It just grew. Like maybe enough people would just like kind of fell into it.
It just appeals to a lot of people, I think, and
Well, yeah.
people are already doing it, and so then it just keeps on piling on.
But you know what? It wasn't even like a holiday for. It hasn't been a federal holiday for that long.
Right, like
What'd I say? 1870.
it was like 80 something, like 1881, I think is what it was.
Oop.
Yeah. Oh, I think you went by it.
That was talking about when it was canceled. It's at the very top. I know.
Okay.
December 25th, Christmas Day
1870.
has a federal holiday. 1870. That's not that long ago.
Mm-mm.
1870. It's 2020. So you got 1920.
150. 150 years.
150 years.
That's like two people.
Yeah, 2 generations, roughly. So that's not that long ago. So like that's what I'm saying. It's like it's interesting how it like got there. But like like I said, obviously I don't mind it. I like it. I like the holiday. I like spending time with my family. I mean, like I said, like I would be a liar if I said I didn't like enjoy receiving gifts.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't enjoy receiving something? But like but to me, like I said, I try to keep that mindset where like that's not what it's about. Which is another kind of like, I guess you can kind of go in like a rant, I guess you'd say that, because you have those people that's like,
yeah,
for this one time
Always one.
only this time of year and everything like that, like you post on Facebook or something like, remember the reason for the season and things like that. But then again, you still fall into the whole big,
Oh yeah.
the big gift buying, thing, all the material things
Yeah,
of
every
like the
time
thing.
someone's like, remember the reason for this season, they'll be like, how many food banks have you gone to?
Right, but that's the thing, like you said, like it's like that time of year, it's like that's when like the volunteering kind of increases and everything, and it's like, which is fine, obviously is great, but like that's the thing, it's like even if like you say remember the reason for the season, or if you say like like this is this is all about Jesus and his celebrating the birth of Jesus, but like you still fall into and get stressed out about the material gift part of it, and like the whole like stressful. Kind of what's the word I'm looking for, phenomenon kind of it, like where it's like right. What do you say with like something's like posted everywhere,
viral?
Yeah, well, yeah, kind of like we'll just have like the popularity of it and everything. You get stressed out, and you kind of you still fall into that like part of it. It's like, not saying that's everybody. Like, I'm not labeling certain people or whatever. Like I said, it's up to each individual. I'm just saying that's like I kind of like what you're saying. It's kind of easy to fall into the stereotype of the gifts and the material things and like the decorations and like, because then you kind of it could be difficult because you could even fall into like, well, their decorations are better than mine, or their house looks prettier than mine does. Like with their Christmas, like they look like a Christmas house, and my house isn't like that at all. Well, their tree's beautiful, mine kind of sucks. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like a slippery slope because, or like it kind of sucks too because like. And the Santa thing, again, is a tough subject because when your kids go back to school and they're like, oh, what'd Santa bring you? Well, Santa brought me some new socks and he brought me and he brought me a couple new toys. What did Santa bring you? He brought me a brand new Xbox and 3 games to go with it, and he brought me a bike, and he brought me a like a
Santa plays favorites.
Right. And it's like, oh, well, like, why would Santa bring you that and not bring me?
Yeah.
Why do you only bring me like some socks and a toy? Like, that's a very dangerous game too. So now you've created, this fictional character is like the enemy, or this fictional character like, oh, he likes him better than me. What am I doing wrong? Is he that much better than me?
Yeah, you create like a self-worth based on something that's not even real.
Dude, it's a slippery slope. That's what I'm saying. So I get that perspective as far as like Santa is a dangerous game. That's a dangerous area to be in. So I can kind of, relate to that. So
yeah, so basically Santa's for rich people. That's what you're saying. If you're poor, you can teach your kids Santa's not real.
No.
That's what I heard.
Why would you say that to me? Why would you make me even think like, because like I can't go, that's one of those things where like you can't defend it, because if you start defending it too hard, you're like, oh, why are you being so defensive?
Yeah, it's like, whoa, chill. Gaslit.
Anyway, so no, not only rich people should do Santa, but like,
dude, I'll tell you what, if I'm broke.
But that's the thing, because like,
I'm broke and I can't get my kid anything.
Well, I don't know about
I'm not gonna tell him Santa's real, so he can go through that.
I mean, fair, but then, okay, your kid goes to school. This other kid, maybe wealthy parents, he's like, hey, Santa brought me this, and I'm like, and your kid's like, Santa's not real. The kid's like, Santa's real.
That's the rich kid's problem.
Yeah, but now your kid's getting into an argument about if Santa's real or not.
And he's right. So good on him. Truth to power.
But now you've created like...
Yeah, I know.
It's tough,
You got to make them be respectful, I guess. You know what I mean? You could do it right.
I mean, yeah.
I grew up not thinking knew Santa wasn't real, and I didn't spoil it for anybody.
That's fair.
I wasn't around.
We weren't friends at that point.
Yeah, like I didn't go to school and see people who were all like, "Ooh." Pretty much everyone.
If you would have ruined Santa for me, I would be very upset with you.
Dude, think about just the total trajectory. It could have been totally different.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, I know what you're saying. Like, you could do it like in a good way.
I don't think. Yeah, I mean,
You could,
I think either way, you'd have to make sure that either way you do it, you got to make sure that like kids understand that like everyone's different.
Yeah.
And it's all G.
Yeah.
You know, so
Which,
because like if if your kid's getting a lot for Christmas, right? That's fine. But then you still got to be like, hey, maybe we don't go like just saying everything you think all the time, right? Maybe keep that.
right.
You know what I mean? Be reserved a little bit.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. You can teach your kids that, but like, they're still their own person. They could still, even though.
Yeah. So what are we going to do? Just throw the whole holiday out?
No, man, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I can understand the perspective of it being like
A problem.
harmful, like
Yeah.
kind of a harmful and a hard problem.
Right. You can understand why people would be against it
Yes.
for certain reasons.
And
Yeah.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
I get
But
that.
where am I at right here? This way. But yeah, I mean that's just kind of like what's been on my mind about like the Christmas thing. Like I said, I love Christmas. It's great. I try to keep a good mindset, a good heart about it, and everything that comes along with it. And I'm just want to clarify. I'm not talking bad about people. I'm just saying I know that we've gotten into like this thing where it's like it's so easy to get wrapped up into the material things. Not even giving and getting gifts, even like decorating your house,
Yeah.
can have a hard negative, hit on someone's life or something because
Yeah. Well, they feel like there's a standard they have to meet or something.
Yeah.
That they just can't or don't or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's there's no right answer. I'm no expert. I don't know everything. I really don't. I don't know everything about the Bible. I don't know everything about things like that. I really don't. And I'll admit that. But like I feel like I have a decent like baseline understanding of things, of those kind of things. And like I said, that's why I wanted to do that research and things like that because I've learned a lot in the past like 2 days. In the past like 18 hours, I've learned like a lot. And I'm like, like I said, it makes me think about things that I've never really considered before. So
I think we need to start celebrating different things. That's my takeaway.
yeah. Well, okay. What kind of things? What kind of things are we going to celebrate?
I don't know.
How do you feel about your birthday? Does that deserve a celebration or not?
I mean, I've never been like a huge like it's my birthday kind of guy. But no. I mean, once you get to a certain point, it's just like, yeah. It's nice when the people like in your immediate family are like, "Hey, happy birthday." That's cool. Cuz like, like people who raised you being born means something to them.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But it's like
Yeah, that's what I've been told too. That like your birthday celebration isn't really about you. It's not. It probably shouldn't really. It probably doesn't mean as much to you as it would like your parents.
yeah, I could see that. Birthdays are it's weird. It's when you're not there when the person's born. That's what makes it weird. Because even like with your parents, it's like, oh hey, happy birthday, but it's like it's weird to say that because it's like I wasn't there. I had nothing to do with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I am at the bottom of this chain. Like I have the most luck has gone into my birth of anyone else above me. You know what I mean? Like the most amount of different chances for it to have happened.
Right.
So that is kind of weird, but like when somebody, you're like, hey, happy birthday. Like even like with I guess probably your sister or my brother, like you kind of like, hey, like it means more like the closer you are to the situation.
Yeah, of course. That makes sense. So what other things should we be celebrating?
Oh, I don't know, dude. I mean, just pick a day. Like, I just think we need to like come up with some different stuff.
More reasons to get together and celebrate than just this one day of the year.
Why not?
Yeah.
It sounds like to me everyone's just making stuff up anyways. So,
right.
I mean, find something. Be like, hey, this guy did a great thing. Let's celebrate it.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, all right, man. Do you got anything else to add to this?
I'm good.
All right, man. Well, thank you again for tuning in. Again, this is Theoretically. Stuart Wilkins and Payne Hutchins. Catch you next time.
Peace.